one of the key things that telcos are trying to do is a worldwide adoption of 5G core technologies. Now, one of the key reasons why the 5G is different from any of the previous generations is because it brings out the programmable persona of the mobile networks, which means that the third-party developers should be able to make use of the mobile networks from their applications directly. Now, one of the key questions we are getting from our customers is that how can they further monetize their 5G investments and assets? Now, which means that we need to do something as a vendor partner to our telecom service providers to basically help them monetize these network assets. So for which we have created Network as Code as one of the offerings. Now this offerings is a classical two-sided platforms model. On one end of the platform, we basically integrate with the mobile core of CSPs. And on the other end, we basically open up the APIs to developers' ecosystems, which means the third-party developers should be able to make use of these APIs and create new and innovative applications. You have different situations in different operators. Some of the operators are still trying to incorporate 5G into the networks. Some of the operators are quite advanced and they've actually already launched 5G services in support of various events like World Cup, etc. So if you look at the APIs itself, Nokia has classified the APIs into different buckets. Some of the APIs are basically CPaaS oriented APIs, which means that they make use of some basic value vectors from the telco networks. Which are capabilities like SIM swap, for example, or number verification type of APIs. Now, these APIs can help the operators kind of move up a little bit and start monetizing some of their network assets. But then if you look at medium to long term, basically high value APIs like quality of service on demand or network slice APIs basically makes a lot of sense, because the Middle East region has got different use cases like oil and gas industry, ports, etc. So which means that they can leverage the power of 5G to its fullest potential and start making use of capabilities like quality of service on demand and network slices. Back in 2015, CPaaS providers started basically looking at APIs and the monetization around APIs. Now, the model historically has been a cost to price based abstraction, which means that on one end of the platform, there is a cost based negotiation that happens with the service providers. And on the other end, the enhanced value is created towards the third party ecosystems and developers. But from a Nokia Network as Code perspective, we want the service providers to be equitable partners to us, which means that we want to look at a fair share of revenue share agreements with the operators, which means that if we are able to basically generate more value out of the APIs towards the third-party developers and ecosystems, we would want them to equally participate in such high-value transactions. So which means that we are looking at a commercial model where it's basically a partnerships-based model, and we basically want to share the revenue with the operators in long run. So if you look at the API standardization, specifically in context of Network as Code, so a couple of different forums that we are following are GSMA Open Gateway and the Linux Foundation Networking's Camara API Standardization Initiative. Now, it's kickstarted last year and it's kind of continuing its momentum through in 2024 and beyond. Now, there is already a sizable backlog when it comes to the APIs that Camara is trying to churn out from a standardization perspective from its stable, which means that from a Nokia perspective, we are trying to participate into the Camara forum, and we are also trying to contribute some of the upcoming APIs into the standardization like network slicing. So 2024, if you look at the 2024 year from an API perspective, it's going to be a year for scale, which means that we are looking at contributing back into the forum, and we are looking at worldwide adoption of these APIs when it comes to standardization of the exposure towards the third-party developers.